John, you're going back to one of your former clubs, the Batley Bulldogs, on Sunday. How have the side's preparations gone this week?
Well, the prep's gone really well. We're obviously disappointed with the losing trot that we're on, but we've been competitive in every game, and I would suggest they could have gone either way, but they've obviously gone against us, so that's happened, that's where we're at. And we've got a formidable task coming up at the weekend against a desperate Batley team, so we know it's going to be tough. And as regards to myself, I'm really looking forward to going back, because it's a club I've got a great affection for, you know, because they treated me really well. It was a very successful 5 years when we were there, and I've got nothing but good memories of the place. So I'd like Batley to do well throughout the season, but not the couple of times when they're going to play Bradford Bulls.
Batley's recent form, John, they're going to be hoping to knock the Bulls off. They're desperate for the points.
They are, yeah, and it's tough going there. I mean, we went there in the Yorkshire Cup final in pre-season, and my word, that was a tough old game, and we're expecting the similar this week, and especially when you look at the weather forecast, because there's winds, high winds forecast, there's rain, so the pitch will be heavy, and it'll certainly, you know, either accentuate the slope advantage or negate it depending which way it's blowing. So yeah, we know full well it's going to be a tough old game, but this is a tough old league, and that's why we're happy to be in it. And that's why we want to work hard and play well in order to get out of it in the right manner, which is upwards.
You've just mentioned the slope, John. Do you think you've got a measure of it now as an away coach, obviously, with your
well, if I am, I'm a bit dumb, aren't I? Because I spent 5 years there. So yeah, I mean, I think we know how to play the slope, and you know, my experience having been there may well help that. But it's a matter of executing that plan. You know, we had a plan for Toulouse, and I don't think we executed it that well with our last tackle plays, getting repeat sets, etc. What we wanted to do was exactly what Toulouse did, and they did it better than us. So, you know, we need to take that on board, and when we get a plan, we need to make sure we execute it to the nth degree.
In terms of players back this week, we've got Jordan Lilly and James Green back from suspension, a huge boost.
Massive.
Is there anybody else back from injury?
No, there isn't. No, I mean, Jai's still struggling with his shoulder, and obviously Elliot Minchella as well. I mean, we'd love him to play, but I think we'd be foolish to play him, because his face was I mean, he passed the head injury assessment test, but his face is a fair old mess, and he's struggling to breathe. So, you know, when you play 80 minutes of rugby league, at some stage you need to suck that wind in for your lungs. So, you know, he's going to be struggling. So there's negatives there, but they're big plus points of both James Green, who's eager and ready to play, and Jordan Lilly, who, in my opinion, has been our best player this season consistently. Him and Jake Webster have made a real impression in the early part of the season. So, you know, I'm really pleased that we welcome him back. And you team up Jordan probably with Matty Wilde in the halves, and it's a recognised half-back pairing, is that? So straight away you think, well, you know, we've made improvements from last week. So yeah, I'm delighted they're back.
In terms of Joe Keys, Dane Chisholm, an update on their injuries, John?
Yeah, Dane's still struggling. He's also he went out for a meal on Wednesday night, and he's had an allergic reaction because he's lactose intolerant, and he's had to have an EpiPen today. So we're getting everything thrown at us, aren't we, at the minute? But so Dane's struggling, and his knee isn't right anyway. And Joe's just struggling with his back, but he is going for a further consultation and a scan on Tuesday, so we feel as if we'll know more. But obviously we hope to have him playing this week, but he won't be playing this week.
And in terms, as you said, Matty Wilde, Jordan Lilly, they've played in the house together at Featherstone, so it's not like you're searching the scrapyard and putting a side together.
No, the quality players, you know. I mean, we got a big squad because we expected our squad to be tested. I think I've said to you, I didn't expect it to be tested so early. I thought it'd probably be after Easter, or 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the season. But you know, this is how it is. We're getting it tested now, and we've got to handle that. And I'm certain that with what we're going to turn out, we'll be able to do that.
In terms of the forwards, John, bit of a conundrum. Will Oliver Wilson feature? Because obviously the reserve game last night was postponed.
Yeah, well, that's made it a conundrum as well, Mick, because part of the reason that we were going to play the reserves was in order to hopefully play Joe Keys, but Joe couldn't play last night anyway, but also to play Ollie Wilson. you know, we're going to throw a challenge down to Ollie in that first 20 minutes or so and see how he came up with it. But the game was postponed, so Ollie will play in the 19s. So that's the conundrum there. He just needs a bit more game time under his belt before we really look at him. So he'll play in the 19s at Newcastle on Saturday.
But I think what we saw was promising from that Toulouse game, with the forwards dominating and at times, you know, having a better measure of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I don't see it as a big issue to rush the kid back. We've got to look after him as well. He's a young man, isn't he? He's got his best years in front of him. But yes, I thought our middle channel were really good against Toulouse. I thought they defended very aggressively, and I thought there was some real good contact and some good defensive wins in there. So I'm hoping that that continues against Batley, and obviously once Ollie and perhaps John Magrin and perhaps Ross Peltier, you know, all them start putting their hand up, the competition for places in that middle channel is going to be immense.
Has anything changed in training again regarding last tackle plays when you're in the opposition 20? Yeah,
well, you do a different strategy for each team, and obviously there's an element of the slope as well, because I'm certain that it takes 5 to 10 metres off your kicks uphill, and it adds 5 to 10 metres on your kicks downhill. So you'll see a different strategy going downhill than you will uphill, and that's obviously because I've been at Batley for many years, so I know what happens when you put the kicks in. So yeah, there will be a different emphasis, and there's a downhill and uphill emphasis as well. So we'll see if it's right or not, and hopefully it will be.
5 games in, John, are you happy with the side making the step up from League One into the Championship?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think they're doing themselves credit, you know, because as I say, we've not been walloped. We haven't walloped anybody either, and we've not been walloped. And we bet Featherstone, but Featherstone could have beaten us. Swinton was probably most comfortable that we've been involved with, but then we came to York because we could have beaten York. We came to the game after. It's just like that, you know. Against Sheffield with opportunities to beat them, and against Toulouse it was an arm wrestle that they ground out, and perhaps on another day we grind it out. So yeah, I am happy with what they've done. I think they'll get better. That's the pleasing thing for me. We'll get better because we've got bodies missing, so we'll get bodies back. We'll get better. The more used and adjusted they come to this standard as well, they'll get better as a group. So yeah, I'm happy, but obviously I'd like more wins on the board, as anybody would. I mean, if we'd had 5 out of 5, I'd have been delighted, Mick.